Big D Entertainment, in association with Dipsy Doodle Productions, presents The Dave Holly Hour, brought to you by Trio Jazz Club, Sioux Falls' premier jazz club. Enter as friends, leave as family. Serendipity Studio Gallery and Gifts, Chasers Food and Spirits, Excel Chiropractic, Quality Nails, and the Sioux Falls Arts Council. The Dave Holly Hour features Sioux Empire Arts and Entertainment Conversations. A true lover of arts, entertainment, good food, and fun times, including an occasional Jack Daniels. Okay, so a few Jack Daniels. Here he is, Dave Holly.
Welcome to the month of February. This episode drops on February 5th. Now that's a very special day for us, as it is Jack Finley Pearson's 8th birthday. Jack is our grandson. His favorite colors are black and white, which makes sense as his favorite animal is a panda. And Panda Jack loves to do videos about various animal facts. They're quite enjoyable. So happy birthday, Jack. Grammy and Grandpa Dave love you. Coming up later in the show, we speak with Kit Ansfeldt and Plastow from the cast of Lemons, 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 presented by Monstrous Little Theater. It opens tonight. Now, in just a few minutes, we talk to Bob Pottratz. He's back in town and getting back into acting and volunteering. Plus, a fellow voiceover talent. In fact, you'll be hearing some of his work on this show in the very near future. But first, let's pop the cork on this bubbly little show.
Time to grab your favorite beverage, lift it high, and toast it to being Thursday, a.k.a. Weekend Eve.
Hey, the weekend isn't around the corner, it's here!
So long, hump day and your frumpy way. We say hello to Thursdays with opening nights. The weekend is near and we can see the bright lights. Yes, Thursday, you're so hearty, we can't wait for Friday, so a day early, we start the party.
Whatever your beverage of choice is this week, lift it high and salute to staycations. Yeah, if you recall, I was supposed to be in Tennessee last week. Mother Nature threw a curveball and said no. So what do when you already have the time off? You take advantage of it and work on all the stuff you've put on the back burner yet. Still leave time to enjoy some movies and so forth. Go to lunch with wonderful friends. All that, it was great. And by the way, I love knocking a curveball out of the park. Cheers to you, staycations. The Weekend Eve Toast is brought to you by Chasers, West 12th and Ellis Road. Stop in for great food, great beverages, and fun times. Monday nights at 7, we play Dave Holly Hour Trivia. This Monday, February 9th, our featured theme is Bulls, Bowls, and Bowling. As always, Mondays are fun at Chasers, your neighborhood gathering place. Honorable mention. What made Dave laugh, chuckle, chortle, downright slap my knee silly, or simply fill my heart with happiness? It was the fill my heart with happiness and make me smile, too, at the same time. Crazy Poet Records, Warehouse Recording Studio, and Phil's Pub had their second writers' round, the first for 2026. They have dates scheduled for March 28th and May 9th. I suggest you put that on the calendar. I have had the honor of being the host for both of the shows that have now been put in the books, and I will be there for the scheduled ones as well. It's a wonderful evening, local singer-songwriters playing original music, and I have thoroughly enjoyed introducing the separate acts and hearing their musical works and the stories behind them. Hope you join us at the next two shows. There's no cover, but they do take donations for various nonprofits. Great A&E conversations on the way with actors Plastow and Kit Ansfeldt later in the show. In just a moment, actor and voiceover talent Bob Pottratz on the Dave Holly Hour. Trio Jazz Club is an intimate music venue in the heart of Sioux Falls. It's family-owned and family-run. Ricardo and Mary Beth and the entire staff provide the art of hospitality, while the best local and regional musicians provide the smooth sounds. It's a great vibe with live music Tuesday through Saturday nights. The chefs and mixologists offer an amazing menu and beer and wine lists. Cocktails as smooth as the jazz. Join the club, Trio Jazz Club, across from the Washington Pavilion. Enter as friends, leave as family.
Follow the Dave Holly Hour on Facebook and Instagram.
Welcome back, everyone. Hope you're having a wonderful time in this strange bit of wintertime that we've been having. But just remember, days are getting longer, and that also means that we're a day closer to spring each day. No matter what it is outside, we are getting that mentally. And, you know, you got the Super Bowl coming up. You've got, for me, spring training. That's what I like. Get me the baseball metaphors. That's what I want. All right. You know what I like? You know, I always say that it's always a pleasure to talk Sioux Empire arts and entertainment on this show. Actually, as much as a pleasure, it's an honor. And today, we are honored to have yet another new guest. His name will sound familiar for some of you. Some of you may go, I've heard that last name. He's Bob Pottratz. Bob, welcome to the show.
Thank you very much, Dave.
It's great to have you along, and it's an interesting way that life goes around. Some people will recognize your name you were around when there was the old Players, the Playhouse.
Sioux Falls Community Playhouse.
Sioux Falls Community Playhouse. And since it's been SECT and now TPP.
Yep.
And you had moved to the Twin Cities, retired, and you moved back down to Sioux Falls.
That is correct. This is where my wife and I met. We raised our 3 daughters for the majority of the time here, but I always knew that we would be back.
Right. And it's great to have you back because one of the first things you did is get back into theater.
Yes, sir.
Tell us about that, playing up at the Corson.
Yeah. At this stage of my life, I take a look at the different community theaters and what they have coming up for their season. And I'm actually pretty particular about what I even auditioned for. And I had seen that humbug at that MCAP was going to be coming up and read through the script a little bit and said, no, this sounds like a lot of fun. And interestingly enough, in all the shows that I've done, and in the different states, did a lot of community theater up in the Minnesota area as well, I had never performed in Corson before. So it was fun to go and audition, and it was fun to do the show. And it was, a take on A Christmas Carol in a modern sense with a female Scrooge in modern times. And it was just a hoot. It was a lot of fun. Yeah. Got to play 3 different characters.
Exactly. Yeah. So you jump right back into it with 3 characters then.
Yes.
Yeah. That's got to be a workout, doesn't it?
Well, I wanted to make sure that I put 3 different characters up on stage. And it worked out very well with how that played out. Although, interestingly enough, the way it was originally written, and we talked about this as a cast, is that, we had multiple people playing multiple roles. And it was originally written for more characters to play. And so there were a couple of changeovers that were quite short and quite hectic because again, they were completely different characters, different outfits, and they happened in a very short period of time. So it was fun.
Okay, so having that meant you were down in the dressing room.
Yes.
Between things and back up. And how tall are you?
5'9".
Okay. Did you miss the bar?
No. During rehearsal,
hit it as well.
Absolutely.
Huh?
That was and everyone says you got to hit it at least once.
Yeah.
And at least I didn't knock myself out. No, it was you get used to the space quickly once you do that.
Yeah. But it's one of those that, for those that are unfamiliar, Corson's is absolutely just wonderful little theater. Has a lot of romance to it in the way that a community theater is put together in a small town. And yes, they have dressing rooms, etc. But the 2 ways that you can come back up to the stage, one of which is prominent, is the one that has a step that's coming down in front of it. And it's secured by a nice 2x4. Yeah. A very strong 2x4. And sometimes a forehead will hit it. I think it took me 2 times before I go, oh man, I gotta stop this. So it's a fun thing, but that's one of those beauties of small town and small community theaters. And it's just so happy to, have someone like you back in it. Now, does that mean that you're looking forward to more?
Oh, absolutely. I'll continue to keep my eye out for that. While I'm retired from corporate life, I'm still quite busy now in my my private life.
Yes.
And so I'll be still a little bit picky and choosy about what I even audition for. But no, this is one of the reasons I came back here. Community theater up in the Twin Cities is a lot of fun, and there are many community theaters. But one of the things that I've enjoyed about the Sioux Empire is the facilities that they have available to them. Honest to goodness, we're in like garages in some of the community theater. I did 4 different community theaters up in the Twin Cities, and they, different versions of the stages. And, it was the true feel of community theater. It felt more intimate. It feels more intimate here in the Sioux Empire area. And I think the community embraces it a lot more. Community theater in the Twin Cities is very, very territorial. It's definitely about the
neighborhoods, and
that's it.
Yeah.
It really is. And so it's good. It's still community theater. You're still interacting with the audience. You still create characters that you put on stage. You still get an emotional response. But no, I will continue to be doing more here in the Sioux Empire.
All right. A particular play or a show that you want to be in? And follow up that question with, is there any particular role that you really longed for?
The one show that I have chased my entire career and yet never been cast is Death Trap, the Ira Levin Death Trap. Yeah. And, it was interesting when I first started auditioning for it. I was auditioning for the young playwright. I have now aged into, I auditioned for Sidney Brule, the old playwright. And one of these days, I hope to nail Sidney, but I'm still going to pursue it. I enjoy that show. I've seen it multiple times, multiple different places, and someday.
All right. So prior to leaving and going up to the Twin Cities, what was the favorite role you had here?
Oh, good question.
I get in one per interview.
Okay.
It took 6 minutes this time, though.
I'm going to caveat that just a tiny bit. Some of the experiences, first of all, back in 1987, the Sioux Falls Community Playhouse debuted Little Shop of Horrors. I think it was one of the very first community theater productions that was released from Broadway. And we got to do that. I was Audrey, too. I was the puppeteer, and it was just a fantastic cast. It's one of the only shows that I have done that I didn't want to end, and it was just 3 weekends back then. So most community theater shows, they're great. They're fun. There's a lot of rehearsal time. There's production time, but usually by the last weekend, you're ready. You're ready to go. You're ready to turn the page and move on. Little Shop of Horrors was one of those that I wanted it to continue. From a drama perspective, it was one of the old studio series that we did over at Augustana called 2 Rooms. And it was a small show. I think there was 4 or 5 of us. And again, it was about a hostage taken over, overseas. And I was playing a reporter trying to get him released. And so I think that there was just 4 of us in that. And Phil Cappan was the individual that was taken hostage, and so it's always fun being on the stage with Phil.
Late legendary.
Absolutely. And in fact, Phil played Seymour during Little Shop of Horrors in 1987, so there were 2 for 2 on that.
Right.
And I'll just finish this up with the show that I've done several times as the same character was I Hate Hamlet. It was just a fun show, and in all the shows that I've done, the very first time that I Hate Hamlet came through was the only time in my audition career when I was auditioning on stage, and I knew I got the role. Just because the interaction, the feel, the energy, I knew after I walked off that stage.
Great feeling to have, isn't
it
it?
was. And so getting the call later was just reaffirmation that my feelings were right.
Yeah. So it's interesting because you were talking about, shows that have long runs, and, there's one of your daughters that was just in a show with a very long run.
Yes, it was. Our daughter, Ruthie, we have 3 daughters. Our oldest daughter did not delve into community theater. Our second got into performing in the band and performing in the pit. She was a music major. But Ruthie is our performer. And she started at a very young age being on stage. and has continued that throughout her life. And now she's been doing a variety of things here in the Sioux Empire, I think over the last 6-7 years now.
Yes, she has.
And she's our performer, and she's been doing it.
Well, see, I bring this up because, first of all, that's the second half of how some people might know that name.
Yes.
Because they're going, well, oh, yeah, Ruthie Pottratz. Oh, that's her dad. You know? And I bring that in at this time because the question that I want to ask you is the same one I first asked her. What got you into theater? And for her, it was, I was raised by the theater. My parents were in it all the time. Yep. So what's your answer to what got you into theater?
It was interesting. I didn't start doing anything with theater until after high school. Mm-hmm. Grew up in Pierre, and I've always known I was an extrovert. I always knew that. And I think my first production for Pierre Players was in '79, but as a walk-on role. I have 5 sisters, but one of my older sisters was big into theater back then, and she got me in on the tech side. And so I spent my first number of years doing lights. I was very big into the tech side. And again, my first walk-on role was they needed a college kid to play a golf pro who was potentially having an affair with the lady of the show. And so it was just a walk-on role at the end. And so that's what started being on stage. But it was mostly on the tech side. And when I came to the Sioux Empire back in 1984, I went under the tutelage of Terry Ross at the Sioux Falls Community Playhouse and learned so much from Terry, and then worked my way back on stage and onto the board and such. And so it was what got me into it was my older sister.
Okay. So a family thing, isn't it?
For her and I.
Yeah.
Yes.
And for you and Ruthie.
The other 4 sisters.
Well, and your wife, too.
Yes. Well, yeah. And she even beats me to the stage. She first performed on the Orpheum stage here in 1969 when she was 6 years old.
Oh, wow.
For what was called YPT back then, Young People's Theater. And so, she spent years on the stage here. And she and I met on stage doing Mr. Scrooge in the fall of '85, where she was on stage and I was in the light booth.
Speaking of lights, now, do you still have an inkling that you want to dabble in that at all?
I have an inkling, but I don't have... Yes, I do have the inkling, but I also know that since I have been away from the lighting side of it, there's been a complete turnover in technology 2 or 3 times.
Incredible, isn't it?
Yeah. And I find that fascinating. Lights are lights, as far as what you're going to do, how you're going to gel it, how you're going to shoot it, and all of that. And how the mechanics of putting it on stage is just something that I would need to learn. But the overall design and how you want it to look, working with the director on that, that was a lot of fun.
Yeah,
and
from old dimmer switches and so forth, and 4-1-a-pack and all that.
Oh, yeah, the old Playhouse had the patch panel. The physical patch panel that you had to you patched
it out. Yeah. Yep. And now, what's a gel? Oh, that's right. It's all LED.
It is.
And the board that they have for that. I've seen the boards that are lighting boards that are bigger than the sound boards people have.
Yes.
And it's tremendous. In fact, I can't remember which performance it was at the TPP in the past year, but they had 566 cues for tech.
Wow. Yeah.
Yeah. In a 2-hour show, 566. So, because we always sit right in front of the tech crew.
Okay.
So we hear it all, dung, 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 dung. And it's also one of the best seats in the house.
Yeah. Well, and like you said, now the instruments these days have all of that built into them.
Yeah.
Back in the what I'll call the 80s and 90s that I was very involved with it. We had different ellipsoidals, we had, different Fresnels that cast a different type of light, depending on what you were looking for.
Par 38.
Oh, yeah.
Frenzel. Yeah.
And
all those.
And so, a lot of it has been now compacted from a technology perspective, but it's still, what do you want to get on stage?
Right. Yeah. And it's such a difference now as to what you see. You used to in smaller theaters, it was maybe you had the director and he had a friend that would do lights.
Yeah.
Because at one point, hardly anybody really did any sound. And now it's all so different, and the coordination that they all have together to now, because, there are many times that directors basically decided what the scene was going to look like.
Yes.
no scenic directors or designers. And so it's all come in great bounds. And I always bring this up because you were talking about in the 80s then that the Playhouse was one of the few venues. Because coming up, living in Rock Rapids, growing up in Rock Rapids, coming up here and taking in the arts, you went to one of two places. You either went to the Coliseum, and, that might be the time you went up for the Christmas for the orchestra. And then, there was the Playhouse. You didn't know a lot about it, though. And to see what has become of everything, the entire arts community here. So you having gone away for a decade and coming back then, what do you see different in it? And what do you think is been the most tremendous growth portion? And what do you see going on to?
Speaking of your time back in, again, when I was very active on the 80s and 90s, was the theater itself. I had the opportunity with my career to spend a lot of time in New York City and in London and, being able to see things on Broadway, being able to see things on the West End. The vast majority of the theaters that put on Broadway shows back in those days were kind of old theaters and not, not that well kept up. All the money was on stage. All the money was on the Broadway show. And the thing about the Orpheum was that it was just a fantastic facility top to bottom. And that really was leverage for the Sioux Falls Community Playhouse as the main venue, even over the Coliseum, to provide that. And today it's still a wonderful building, as far as what they've done with the expansion, what they've done with the old Rainbow Bar, which is now a theater space. That is something that communities of our size just don't have access to. And that is, it's a plum of what we have out there. I think I mentioned early on that the variety that we see here in the Sioux Empire is positive. It's strength. It gives different venues. It gives different opportunities to see different things. You get to see different types of shows. You get to see provocative shows. You do get the Broadway shows that come through, shows that make you think, shows that make you squirm a little bit. And with the different groups that we have, provides that to happen. Where do I think it's going to go here in the Sioux Empire? Well, I don't think it's going to slow down. I think if there's any challenge that community theater currently has in the Sioux Empire, and believe me, I am just now getting, dipping my toes back into it, is just getting the message out there. We're 250,000, give or take, from
Close to it now.
Yeah. So he's getting people to know what's out there. Sure, we're very comfortable with some of the, the tried and true venues and such, but some of the more backstage, hole in the wall, very intimate type of theater spaces. How do we get that advertising out there? Yeah. How do we let people know what they're seeing or what they could see or what they're missing? I think that's what it needs to be. As we continue to grow, and Sioux Falls, the Sioux Empire will continue to grow, is being able to get that out in front of the community. It's nice having all those options. They still need to take advantage of those options.
So you dabbled in lighting at first.
Yes.
You were a tech person. Then you decide to get interested in the acting part. And what other things would you like to do in theater? Thoughts of being a director?
No. Okay. No, I did some assistant directing, and again, helping out with the director and such. I don't believe I have that vision that I believe people need to have when it comes to taking human beings and creating the scenes out of them. I take coaching extremely well. I love being coached. More on that later. But no, I like that. And I'm always just enamored at the different directors that I've worked with, that they can see it. They see it when they read the play. I remember the first time I read Pump Boys and Dinettes or Noises Off, an extremely difficult, techie play like Noises Off, so much going on. It was like, I don't know what's going on here. But, when directors can see that and get their vision out on stage and then get the characters and the scene and the lighting and the, all that to come together. No, I don't want to do that. I really don't. I can see myself more, turning to the tech side of things, or the acting side, but no, I don't want to direct.
With your career background, though, have you ever thought about becoming a manager of the theater?
Not at this time. Not at this time. I like helping. I like
Right.
helping. I'm a volunteer at the pavilion. I help with their load-ins and load-outs. So I like being around theater.
Right.
I like being around theater people and such. And I enjoy doing the occasional show. But no, I'm enjoying my retirement by doing a lot of different things. Theater is definitely one of them, but I don't want it to be the main thing.
Right. And we'll talk about one of those other things in just a moment.
Okay.
All right. But keeping it in the family then,
Okay.
what role have you seen that your daughter Ruthie has played that you were most impressed by?
Wow, that's a great question. She really started theater up in the cities. The high school that we went to, that all three of our daughters actually graduated from, was Eastview High School in Apple Valley. Wonderful performing arts center up there. And again, they had beautiful facilities and everything. She started when she was 8 years old. And again, for bringing, they needed some kids in there.
Right.
And so she started doing that. Shows that I've seen her do, probably the one that I thought that she nailed was the musical comedy Murders of 1940. Was done down in Worthing, probably 4 or 5 years ago. And it was a show that I had been in 25 years earlier, but I had forgotten how it ended. I knew the basic premise of what it was, and she had me on edge as far as what's next. It's an ensemble cast, and they slowly get killed off. And I had forgotten what it. Again, I did not see my daughter on stage.
You saw the character.
I saw the character, and that's the one. She did a couple at SDSU. She did Prairie Rep one year.
Okay.
Godspell. She did Prairie Rep Godspell in 2009. And that one also, I did not see my daughter on stage. And as a musical, great setting, great directing, and, very impactful at the end. I'd say those are the two that jump out. One of the comedies and a drama.
All right. What do you tell young people that you run into that say they really want to get into theater? What advice do you have for them?
A couple things. First of all, as for those that are brand new into it, that are potentially already starting or doing their first role or whatever, is don't advertise that you made a mistake. Nobody's going to, sure, the people you're on stage with, you made a mistake. Don't advertise. The audience might not realize it. They will if all of a sudden you come up with something and they go, oh, that's a look that doesn't look right.
I have a fun little side bit to that. When I was a freshman in college, one of the kids I was on stage with forgot his lines. He goes, oh, shit. And everybody heard it.
Whoa.
And so, here we are in Shakespeare, Much Ado About Nothing. And all of a sudden we've got something, that's for sure.
Yeah, something happened there. I think the other, the other piece of advice I would give individuals, listen to the people that you're with. Watch. You got two eyes, you got two ears, you only got one mouth. Watch and listen. You'll pick so much up from people that have been doing it from more experience, more years and everything. And that's where, back to the directing side of that, Humbug was directed by Mike Richards. Mike was a great, and I think he even said this was the first real full-on show that he's directed. And I was talking with him during one of during the run of the show at the end, and I didn't realize that 4 or 5 of the individuals in that show, that was their first show ever. And the way that he approached it, and he said, he did pair up people, someone that more experience with the new one. I wouldn't have thought of that. Again, that's why Mike makes a good director out of doing that. But no, people listen and watch.
Yeah. The key word that I always believe in when it comes to learning anything you want to be, observation. Yeah. I mean, I learned how to get into radio. I went into the local radio station and asked if I could just sit there and watch one of the DJs.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden I go, oh, so that's how they queue up a record and always have it ready to go and things along that line. So observe. Yeah. Don't go in there and go, hey, I'm going to be a radio DJ. I'm going to be an actor. Things like that. Just take a look at it first.
Well, yeah, and do your homework.
Yeah.
There's a lot you can read up on that makes sense that you might not get.
Yeah. And more so now.
Mm-hmm.
when we were in our ages of being in youth,
Yes.
it was a little more difficult, and you really had to go out there and find it. But now there's so many opportunities.
Ask questions.
Yeah.
Talk to the people that have been there. Because guess what? More than likely, they've encountered it, they've experienced it, and I haven't ever met an actor or a tech that doesn't want to share what they know.
Exactly. That's why. All right. So retirement now. Yes, you're going to do some theater, but people are going to hear your voice on this radio show, on this podcast.
There we go.
For a while, because I've had you do some work for me as a voiceover artist. Because first of all, Ruthie's the one that got me in contact with you. She said a while back and had said, "Hey, my Dad's back in town and in theater again, and it's been a long time since he's been here in theater. I think he'd make a great interview." And then all of a sudden, I meet Bob Pottratz, and he's starting to talk about all the voiceover work he does. And so then we're comparing notes, and we're sitting down, swapping stories, and showing pictures. Well, you showed me pictures of your studio.
Yeah.
You're live in mine.
Correct.
What made you decide that's an avenue for me?
Over the years, like I'd mentioned, I always knew I was an extrovert from a very young age. And I got into the IT industry in the late 70s. And I was an extrovert. Now, the IT industry, especially back in those days,
not necessarily known for that.
No, it's a black hole for introverts. And it's wonderful that the introverted individuals were into data processing, into computer science, into programming, into the architecture of what I call second-generation computer systems. But as an extrovert, I knew that I had an opportunity to bridge both of those. And so I was very successful with that by being a leader and a manager in an extroverted sense, but I could talk to introverts because I knew the language, I knew what they were doing. And throughout my adult life, people have always said, "We love listening to you." I've had managers that said, when you get on the phone, you and, so-and-so are the people that we love to talk. And I was always very comfortable in front of a group of people. I never had an issue with that. I always said I could talk to a stump. And so I always knew I had the potential building blocks to do voiceover. But I was very involved, enjoyed my IT career. But as I delved into the 20 teens, it was like, okay, so what? Now what do I want to do with that? Our daughters had gotten out of high school. They were moving on to college. They were moving on to their adult lives. And I knew with retirement coming up, I wanted to potentially have that as a venue. So I took some classes. I worked with a coach up in the Twin Cities and started doing voiceover work up there as I pivoted into retirement. And so I do have that avenue that I'm pursuing more. But again, I don't want to spend 5-6 days a week working through that. Because again, it's going to be one of the many levers that I'm going to pull and use during my retirement.
All right, that's fantastic. So you mentioned, more on that in a moment when we brought up coaching, that you are very good at being coached.
That is correct.
All right, tell us more then.
Well, I think what it comes down to, as I went through, whether it's my hobbies, old cars, my career, I've always felt that no matter what, it always ends up being two people talking to each other. Two people interacting. What do you need? How can I help you? What do you want? Even if you're in front of a group of people, 1,000 people, a big group of individuals that you're doing a town hall for. How did you get to that point? Well, you ended up working with someone to do that. And I've always embraced it's two people having a conversation.
Exactly.
And those two people, you can help each other. And I'm here to please. You want to think of it in those respects. Yes, as I further on in my career, as I became that guy that people were, like, you're the guy that we have to talk to. It was just understanding what are we trying to get out of that, and listen listen. And that's where I felt I'm very coachable, because people would say, great, you listened to what I said. You changed, you added that. And that's how I enjoy the coaching side of it. And I took that as an advantage of when I turned, when I got behind the desk, as opposed to being in front of the desk, is giving people coachable moments and letting them know, this is, what I would like to see. This is how I envision this. This is what I think the two of us can accomplish together.
Oh, that's fantastic. Well said, too. All right. Now, you let on to me that you have something coming up here in just a week or two that is going to be very, very special. You are going to the Winter Olympics along with one of your daughters.
That is correct. We've got a trip coming up. We're going to be showing up in Milan on the 11th of February. So all the opening ceremonies and stuff will be over. I have given my three daughters the opportunity to do what I call adult daddy-daughter trips. Mm-hmm. And our middle daughter, back in 2010, she really pushed hard to go to Vancouver for the Winter Olympics that were there. And she was pushing that, we could actually drive there. There's nothing that we really have to do. But for long story short, 2010 just wasn't a good time for us to go do that. And so she's always kept that in the back of her mind. And when I provided that option to my daughters, she latched onto the Winter Olympics fairly quickly, and to the point where it's 2 years ago, as of right now, was when we got in the queue over in Milan to purchase Olympic tickets. 16 months ago, we actually purchased those tickets.
Wow.
We finished all of our different hotel, train reservations back in May of 25. So we're going to do 4 days up in Milan. We're going to see, we've got curling tickets. We have speed skating tickets. And then we're going to go to Rome. So while in Rome, while in Italy, we're going to do the Rome thing too. So yeah,
that's fantastic.
We've always liked the Winter Olympics. I enjoy the Olympics, but I enjoy the Winter Olympics a little bit more because there's fewer things, and I like the different skill sets, and we just want to experience being there.
Now, did your daughter have a particular thing that she was always interested in the Winter Olympics? Was she a fan of the figure skating? Was she a fan of...
Curling is kind of what she really likes a lot. So I think we're each going to be able to...
Good Minnesota sport, for one thing.
Absolutely. Well, and she lives up in Rosemont, Minnesota, one of the south suburbs of the Twin Cities. And a couple of years ago, she and I went and did it when I lived up in the cities there with her. We took an intro to curling class in Lakeville, Minnesota, and learned how to curl. And then she did a league for one season of curling. So that is truly, when it comes to the winter sports, that she enjoys that venue. She enjoys as a participant. And she likes the fact that it's something that's easily watchable.
Yeah. All right. Now, first-time guests always get the same question, which can lead to a second. First question is, when you are not part of the arts and entertainment scene, what do you like to be entertained by?
Very involved with old cars here in the Sioux Empire area.
Mm-hmm.
I am part of the Classy Autos unit in the El Riad Shrine.
Okay.
I have a 1948 Ford Super Deluxe that's been totally restored to original condition. It's I call it my dad's car because it started with my mom and dad having them. My dad restored a number of vehicles in his time, but overall ended up with just this final car in his collection. And he turned it over to my wife and I about 20 years ago. And two of our three daughters have used it in their wedding. My third daughter wanted to use it in the wedding, but it was in transit at the time. It was unavailable. So very involved with doing old car stuff as well. And I like volunteering at the Washington Pavilion as well. It's a great venue, good people there. I golf a lot in the summer. And that was another opportunity that the Sioux Empire has over the Twin Cities, is just the availability of golf, a variety of different courses, all affordable, easy to get on. And it's a great summer thing for us to do with our short summer seasons.
All right, fantastic. I don't think I need to ask any other hobbies.
No, that's really it.
All right.
Golf in the summer, and keep doing my theater thing in the winter.
Fantastic. Bob Pottratz, thank you so much for being on the show. And like I said, people will be hearing you from time to time. Appreciate that as well. And thanks for taking the time. It means a lot to be able to, for some people to catch up by hearing to this, and for me to get to know you more and so forth. And, I know you've got one very talented daughter, and so she was the one that put the spark in it, and I'm so glad you came out to play trivia that time.
Yes. No, and again, I thank you, Dave, for being able to provide a venue and an opportunity for individuals to come in and talk about what they like. The Sioux Empire, I have lived in a variety of locations: Atlanta, London, England, Wilmington, Delaware, the Twin Cities. But the Sioux Empire is a special place in the United States, with the people, with the state, the dynamics, and just the individuals that we have here. And being able to have this sort of an outlet is wonderful.
I appreciate that. All right. We'll be back with more of the Dave Holly Hour in just a moment. How great are the acts that play at Trio Jazz Club? Let's just say, if you don't have tickets for anything at Trio this weekend, you're out of luck. All 6 shows this weekend are sold out for the music of James Taylor and Carole King, a Haig Brothers show. So is next Tuesday's A Valentine's Day Cabaret, and the Book of Bublé featuring Sean Johnson next Saturday. They still have tickets, though, for some other great shows, including Writers in the Round featuring Janice Gilbert and Craig Winquest on the 11th, Tea Trio and One Coffee on the 12th, and 2 from the Jeff Hall Group on the 13th. So get your tickets now for those shows. Go to triojazzclub.com for more information.
Ladies, when it's time to give your nails some love, get that extra special treatment from Quality Nails in Sioux Falls. Manicures and pedicures that look great and make you feel fantastic. Zaya and Tony don't simply provide the service, they provide professional care for your hands and feet, whether you just want the basics or you're looking for an extra special look with added flair. Oh, and guys, it's okay to treat yourself too. Quality Nails on Minnesota Avenue. Call for an appointment, 605-334-1463. Walk-ins welcome.
For him, every day is a Holly day. Here again, Dave Holly.
Welcome back, everyone. Oh, yes. I'm going to say it right out of the chute. It is always a pleasure to talk Sioux Empire arts and entertainment. And you know me, it's always a pleasure to have somebody back. And it's always a pleasure to have somebody on the show for the first time. One of each. Mo Plastow, how are you?
I'm well, thank you.
Good. It's good to see you. Great to have you back here in the studio.
It's great to be back.
Yes,
thanks.
and then along with you is Kit Ansfeldt. Kit, welcome to the show.
Hi, how's it going?
It's going very, very well. And the reason we have the two of you in here is because Monstrous Little Theater is at it again. I just have to know, when you go through this in your mind, you tell people, well, I'm in lemons, 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 lemons. So you count them out on your fingers or something?
I've said it so many times I don't need to count.
Okay.
Yeah, I'd have to say the same. It is always funny, though, because they expect you to stop at like 1 or 2 maybe, and then when you're going for the 3rd and the 4th and the 5th,
going.
you see it in their eyeballs and they go, oh.
Wow.
And the usual immediate response is, that's a lot of lemons.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
And so it opens tonight, 7:30, and you're going to be down at the
Last Stop CD Shop on 10th.
again. Yeah, down in that, what used to be
White
the
Wall
White Wall
Sessions,
Yeah,
yeah.
that's awesome. And so you've got a show tonight, tomorrow night, and
Saturday
night.
Mm-hmm.
How long have you been rehearsing?
Almost a month, just over a month, I think.
That sounds right.
We
Okay.
briefly started right before the new year with just read through,
Read-throughs and-
meet up together, and then
Yeah.
had some time to run away with the scripts and just ourselves before we fully dove in. So I think 4 weeks probably, something like that.
Something like that. I trust you. Yeah.
That's good. I hope you would at this point.
Might be difficult on stage tonight if not, right?
Oh, yeah.
It's a Sam Steiner play, and so what's he coming up with here in this particular show? Who wants to capsulate it first?
I think Kit should.
Okay,
He's
sure.
so well articulate.
So, the gist is that it's kind of a twist on like your typical boy meets girl story. First twist being they meet in a pet cemetery. So that's kind of, a bit of an unusual starting point for most people. They strike up this relationship, and then in the midst of them getting to know each other and dating, the government institutes a new law where everybody is only allowed to speak 140 words a day. So it drastically changes how they have to communicate with each other. And you see a lot of relationship hurdles around that, but then also just normal things that other couples would be dealing with, So it's how do you talk to each other, but then how do you talk to each other when there's severe restrictions in place at the same time? Not to give too much away, but there's times where like they both get home from work or from wherever they've been, and one of them only has like 2 words left, right? And it's just, how do you even convey any information of, forget even importance, just like, how do you say anything at that point? How do you sustain that?
And do the ums and ahs count for a word?
Potentially, in our minds,
world,
they
does.
do.
Yeah.
It's not really explicitly stated, but
yeah,
I would say so.
Just the vocalizations of it. So, yeah.
So does this mean that this show doesn't have much dialogue?
So it doesn't follow a linear timeline. It jumps back and forth. Yeah,
okay.
Of pre this law getting passed, post this law getting passed. And so there's scenes where we don't say words to each other, but there's scenes where, oh my goodness, I need to get all of my words out now, and there's just word vomit. So, yeah.
All right. Looking forward to it. We're going to be there on Friday night.
Oh,
yay. We're catching that tomorrow night. Looking forward to it, as I always do with Monstrous Little Theater. And so, Mo, you've been in a lot.
What?
Yeah, you've been in a lot of things. Once or twice you get out there on stage and people go, oh, it's been so long since we've seen Mo Plastow on stage.
Yep.
What do you like about this one?
I love a good, unique narrative. And it's truly something I haven't seen before. And so it's delightful. It's edgy, it's heartfelt, it makes you think. And that's largely what Monstrous wants to do, is create dialogue. And it's all of that and more. And, I've never worked with Kit, and he's awesome. And he's so great, and I think he should stay on land more. It's fine.
Yes.
So yeah.
He got his land legs back.
I know.
I
could sing his praises, but he'd probably get sick of it. So,
well, speaking of singing and speaking of staying on land, for those that aren't aware of him, most of his jobs that he does involve being on a cruise ship and singing in various shows.
Oh, yes.
Oh, my. Mm-hmm. So what's it like now to just get back into a straight play on land?
I was trying to do the math the other day, and I'm pretty sure that the last time I've done just like a normal play, not even a musical, not like a cruise ship production show, I think was when I was still in college. So it's been probably 10, 11 years by this point, which is kind of one thing that really drew me to this, knowing that I was going to be around for the time frame. Whenever I'm back in Sioux Falls, I always look for the opportunities that are around and available. And sometimes the break is not long enough for me to really do anything. But this time it just lined up perfectly, where it was, I get to be home, I get to have a sensible break. I get to then jump into this while I'm still technically on vacation, but can do the work and stretch the actor muscles that haven't been stretched in a really long time. And it has just lined up like really wonderfully for my personal life and for like my mental brain of like, oh yeah, okay, this is still something I can do. I still know how to do this. And like, okay, I'm pretty sure I don't suck.
No, you do not.
I'm pretty sure this is fine.
I will affirm you on that. You do not suck.
And it has just like worked out so well. And the team in the room has been just remarkable as well. I mean, Mo is so easy to be across from. And I was never a moment where I was like, ugh, I'm scared of doing something wrong, because Mo has just like been so open and gracious and giving of her spirit in all of this. And I would say the same for Debbie too, our director Debbie Jones, who's also I believe on the like mainstays of the Monstrous team. She has been so wonderful and collaborative and really intentionally open to playing around. We've been referring to it quite often as the sandbox.
There you go.
And, you know, even up until opening, things have been changing. And it's like I'm so set in now this like corporate world of cruise ships where it's like, this is the product and there's a little bit of room for you to play, but not a ton, because you're doing this. And then immediately after you leave, somebody else is doing this exact thing the next 6-month period. And so it's been really lovely to have that, like, it doesn't have to be set feeling, you know?
Right.
Obviously there's things we need to remember and there's things that need to go a certain way, but it's okay to keep exploring and discovering throughout all of that.
Yeah.
So getting into this, did you know about Mo? Did you know about Debbie?
Debbie and I actually kind of go way back to an old Augustana theater camp. One summer, I believe I was in 7th grade. So Debbie must have been around the same. I don't know if we're exactly the same age. She would have been 7th or 8th grade as well. That's where we first encountered each other. And we've sort of just like floated in and out of each other's lives since then. I knew vaguely of Mo. Like, it's a name I had seen written on things, but we had never met until we started doing this.
Yeah.
Except for the Zoom callback that we did.
Oh my gosh, yeah. That was my first time ever hearing the name Kit and seeing him. And I was like, okay, great. Let's do this.
Tell us about your characters. Go ahead, Mo.
Sure. Yeah. So I am playing the role of Bernadette, and she is a lawyer.
Oh, how does a lawyer talk only 180 words in a day?
Well, 140 words.
140, excuse me.
Even less. That's great question. And there's points in the show where she doesn't have as many words as maybe she wants or she hopes for. And she's, let's see. The word I'm looking for is very disciplined in how she approaches it. And she's like, well, this is what I'm setting for myself. And so she kind of lives in some rigidity. And so having Kit's character to be opposite of, it's really kind of, they counterbalance each other. Like, I don't know the best way to explain it without getting into your character.
Yeah,
so
So I play Oliver, who is a musician, potentially struggling in his career at the time, who sort of then turns activist because of this law that's coming in. It sort of like awakens this deep-seated, I guess, passion, perchance, that he feels the need that he needs to like go and strike up the band. That's not what I'm trying to say, but that's really what just wanted to come out of my mouth.
Musician.
Yeah,
I suppose.
So, and he's a bit more loose than Bernadette is. He's a bit more easygoing and free and kind of they have different sensibilities about how life should be and what constitutes importance in the world and what maybe needs to be discussed and what needs to be dealt with. And I think that's one thing that really draws them to each other is that they are so different. It's that typical adage of like opposites attract, right?
Attract, yeah.
But I do think in this situation, rings very true. They are quite different, but in the places that they do overlap, it matters quite a lot.
All right. I'm one of those that I hear something about a play, and one of the things you brought up is where they meet.
Yeah.
I want to know, does that come back?
Oh, several
Couple of times, yeah.
Okay. Oh, yeah. Because it's always, okay, so, you chose that they're meeting here. Is that the only thing that's going to happen, or why was it that you chose them to meet here? So I always like character development and scene development.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Plot.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Mo, you said one of the best words it is to describe monstrous, and that is edgy.
Yeah.
Yes. Debbie typically chooses plays that are either A, edgy, or B, concerning social issues.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a social issue that comes into this as well as being edgy?
I think there is. I mean, with
It's just not as in your face.
with the daily limit word thing, like
Yeah. A law, a stupid
right,
law.
exactly. Who gets to talk? Who gets to be heard? How do you censor yourself? Like, I think finding ways to communicate concisely and just the preciousness of language.
Mm-hmm. In terms of doing this as a law, does the law ever get repealed at the end, or and like who enforces this?
That is a great question, and I don't know that that's something I'm allowed to say on this microphone.
Yeah,
We'll find out tonight.
You'll find
sure.
out,
Come
yeah.
to the show.
Does it get resolved?
Yeah. Just to piggyback a little bit on what Mo was talking about, I think words just in this world become kind of a currency, right? So it gets into a little bit the economics of like who needs words to survive more than other people do, And if you have actual money, in what ways does that then lend you to needing words more or needing words in a different way? How is the way that you present yourself then also changing that for everybody else that you might encounter in the world? So I think, there's a big, like, classism is kind of a undercurring theme throughout the show. Yeah.
Yeah.
Now, you went to USD.
I sure did.
What was your major?
I got my Bachelor's of Fine Arts in Musical Theater, graduated 2016. Go Yotes.
Which is, ironically, one of the places that Mo is
I
employed.
work there.
Yes. So what did you love about USD?
Oh, I really
always
liked...
a strong program down
Yes.
there. Yeah.
I think the best thing about USD for me is that it's a strong but small program. There are a lot of other musical theater schools across the country that take lots and lots of kids. And I don't think this is as much of a thing as it was maybe when I was going to school, but there used to be a common theme across like the big schools that they called the sophomore slaughter, right? So you'd get your first 2 years in, and then you'd have to go through like essentially another audition process or adjudication process. And if you weren't up to standards for the school, they were like, sorry, you're done. And then it's, okay, well, what do I do with these 2 years of time and money and effort that I've put in? But USD is small enough that they didn't need to do that, nor did they feel the need to do that. It was very much about putting people on stage right away, giving everybody the opportunities that are going to help them to grow as artists and as performers from the get-go, so that it's not, oh, only the seniors get to play leads in the shows. It's like, I think it was good for the educational process because, one, it teaches you that not everybody's right all the time. Two, it teaches you that a no is not a bad thing, It just means like not right now. And three, it also teaches you to really think about the puzzle piece when it comes to casting, I think, because you recognize that like, yes, I could have done this very well, but for this particular time and group of people that we're looking at
And the vision behind
and
it.
the division and whatever the director's thinking about, I was not the right shape puzzle piece,
And that's okay.
And that's totally okay. Yeah.
Mo, what do you enjoy most about being an educator down there?
Oh my goodness. So I teach voice specifically through the theater department. So I don't get to work with like the play analysis,
Right.
the combat, the intimacy side of things within the classroom setting itself. I just work in the voice studio. But just how united but different all of these brilliant kids are. I say kids, they're adults.
Right.
No, they're not.
Okay.
Legally, they
They all have different interests and they all want to accomplish different variations of the same goal, and just seeing what speaks to them is so cool. And so figuring out which path I can then help them on their vocal journey, because there's classical musical theater, there's contemporary musical theater, and so working through that, it's a very well-rounded program, and we pick the different rep categories at the top of each semester, and so we find things that challenge and stretch them, but also things that can play to their strong suits. And so I just love making noise. So yeah, and just the people. It's really truly the people. I love collaboration. I
Yes.
really do.
All right. So it's Lemons by Sam Steiner.
Good.
Thank you. It opens tonight, 7:30. What do you hope that the audience members get out of this?
Ooh. I hope they leave wanting to ask more questions.
Mm-hmm.
I think there'll be intentionally a lot of things that don't get answered for them at the end of the show. But I hope it opens conversations for them to go home with, whoever they come to see the show with and say, like, okay, so this is what was important for them to talk about, but what's important for us to talk about,
Right.
That's my hope and dream.
Yeah. A little bit of introspection and contemplation of where your values lie.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'm interested. I wonder how many people afterward, as you're talking about that, will also try to implement this in some form.
Oh, wow.
Will a couple say, we're only going to give each other 100 words today when we talk to each other. You could still have your other conversations with everybody else, but what are the 100 words that are important to each of you in your relationship?
Mhm.
And I think it could be very dynamic.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and just fantastic. So, again, we're going to the show tomorrow night, Friday night, but it's 7:30 tonight, Friday night, Saturday night, and looking forward to it. You can purchase your tickets at monstrouslittletheater.com. Yes, monstrous spelled properly, little spelled properly, and theater spelled properly with the R and then the E. monstrouslittletheater.com. You can get the tickets and you can come see these two incredible people. And I know you're going to do great, Kit, just from this conversation.
That is very kind. Thank
Yeah,
you.
Yeah, he's so wonderful.
Yeah, and
He
Mo,
does great.
Yeah, I know you're always a pro when you're on stage.
I do
and
my best.
that you do. And we can all be entertained, if nothing else, besides asking questions in our minds like, oh, how do we... But anyway, so Kit, you are a first-time guest. That means you get the one question that can sometimes lead to two questions.
Oh, no.
The first one is, when you are not part of arts and entertainment, what do you like to be entertained by?
That one's hard because I feel like so much of what I do is just arts and entertainment. When am I not doing that?
Right.
Oh, well, I suppose the biggest one is over the past few years, I've really fallen back in love with reading. My goal for this year is 30 books, and I really try to not limit myself as far as genre or subject matter or anything like that. I'm very love when somebody I know is like, hey, you should read this, or if somebody, suggests a specific author, or if, any type of recommendations I get like that, I really try to, because I think it's important, especially in the day of social media that we're living in now. People, well, and especially this is I'm really going on a tangent here. Sorry.
I love it.
And
Go.
in the like AI culture that we've fallen into, I just think people don't know how to discern for themselves anymore. And I think a huge part of that is that like we don't read, and especially fiction. Like people read more fiction. It's gonna expand your worldview. You'll learn about people you've never learned about before. It teaches you empathy. I could go on and on. Yes.
Yeah, well,
I love it.
I especially, when it comes to AI, there are stories that I love to read about people on Facebook. And as I'm going through, it's like, is this real?
Exactly.
There's been a couple of different things that I've seen that they'll take one very popular person, and it always starts with 7 words that made the stage go quiet. And then you'll see somebody else, and they'll say the same thing. And then, of course, you read like you're reading a novel, and at the end, go to the comments, first comment, and so forth to get the full story. And then, of course, you're in that rabbit hole of getting ads all over the place. And then it's just like, okay, if this person was supposedly saying that, and this person was supposedly saying that, obviously that didn't happen, that they just both miraculously at the same time thought of exactly the same thing to say. And there's just so much crap out there now.
So much.
What is real? And you have to be very careful when you look at the source. If it's well-respected, like ABC News, abcnews.com, yeah, all right. So we got a chance that it's real, but still, there are people out there creating all these things that will lead you down rabbit holes. They will, make you pay hundreds of dollars more for a ticket. I got suckered by that one. Yeah. And so that wasn't any fun. And when you're at the pavilion and you're showing them the ticket and they look at the price and they go, ooh, I'm sorry. Because there is somebody out there that has a site that they go out and buy the tickets early. They get them all. And their site looks almost identical to the pavilions.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
But the money was worth it. It was a great show.
Well, good.
All right, Mo, you've been here a few times. So tell us, let's see, what should I give you for the new question?
Oh, Dave.
Yes.
Be kind.
All right. The Mo Plastow autobiography.
Autobiography.
What's the title?
I don't know if it's the title, but I think one of her chapters could be called "I Want Waffle Fries."
Yeah, that lives in my brain. And also, waffle fries are delicious. Thank you, Kit.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
I think that's like chapter number 3.
Yeah, sounds great.
It would have to be something clever about like noise or making music. I wouldn't say like songwriting, like nothing along those lines, because songwriting is not one of my talents. I'm not that kind of creative. Something like on and off stage. I don't know. Music, theater, and my cat. Like,
All right.
yeah.
I stumped Mo for once. Really.
I don't know if that people want to know that much about me.
And, it's funny. I think sometimes people, we have a great conversation, and then they get to this part, and they go, "Oh God, I knew you were going to ask something like this, and I didn't think of anything."
It's all right.
Hey,
I didn't think of anything.
I don't worry about it, because most people don't either.
Yeah.
And I like the raw part of all this. That's why there are very few edits. Because first of all, they take time.
And who's got that?
Exactly. All right. Once again, Kit Ansfeldt and Mo Plastow. Monstrous Little Theater opening tonight with Lemons, 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 Lemons by Sam Steiner. You will find it at the Last Stop CD Shop. You can get your tickets early at Monstrous Little Theater with the retheater.com. Thank you both so much. Appreciate it.
Thank you, Dave. This was so fun.
Yes, it was. Great getting to meet you. And Mo, always a pleasure to talk to you.
Yes.
All right. We'll be back to wrap up the Dave Holly Hour in just a moment.
Dr. Perry Langston and Dr. Corey Tooney know excellence is in you. That's why they provide you with excellent care at XO Chiropractic, improving your overall health in spirit, body, mind, and will. Get results the natural way. Arrange a consultation, 605-332-9235 or exokairos.com. Excellent care for excellent people. XO Chiropractic, located at 4309 South Racket Drive in Sioux Falls.
Hot? No. Cute? No. Ruggedly handsome? Yes. Once again, here's Dave Holly.
Thanks again to my amazing guests, Bob Pottratz and Kit Ansfeldt and Mo Plastow. Mo has been on the show previously. Go to DaveHollyHour.com, search her name to hear what we chatted about then. All 306 episodes can be listened to anytime you desire. Dave Holly Hour is also available on your favorite podcast platform. And by the way, we will be unveiling a new look for the show within the next week, including a new sponsor. Thank you all for supporting local arts and for taking the time to download, listen, and share this show. I encourage you to find your art. Find the art you enjoy. Find the art you're interested in trying, and we shall see you in the arts. As the Sioux Falls Arts Council says, together we art. As Art South Dakota says, home is where the art is. As I say, put some art in your heart. Remember, my name is Dave Holly, and for me, every day is a holiday.
The Dave Holly Hour has been brought to you by Trio Jazz Club, Sioux Falls' premier jazz club. Serendipity Studio Gallery and Gifts, Chasers Food and Spirits, XL Chiropractic, Quality Nails, and the Sioux Falls Arts Council. Stay up to date on the show by following on Instagram and Facebook. All episodes available anytime at DaveHollyHour.com. The Dave Holly Hour is produced in the Dipsy Doodle Studios by Big D Entertainment.
Thanks for listening.